Hey there, everybody. What's up, Fox fam? Welcome to some stories, The Path of Destinies. So this is a game where I actually get to play as a fox. I get to go in, fight off a bunch of ravens, basically try to save the world. Alright? And I have played it. I do have an idea true ending-wise, but all the other endings I didn't completely finish the whole book, basically. So hopefully I can do that. I think I got this free when it was on PlayStation Plus. So apparently I don't know if I'm mistaken, but apparently they've got like an expiration date on it. So I've got less than a year to get through the game, if that's the case, if I've only got it for so long. So yeah, but as always, don't forget, guys, hit the like button, hit the sub button if you haven't already, and all of your support, all your help's appreciated. So please let everybody you know about my channel. Let them know I do have some pretty good content. Hopefully you guys think so. And don't forget pesky autoplay feature. Turn that off on your YouTube page because you don't want to get sent away from good content, anybody content. So I'm just gonna get started, I guess. Nothing else to do. Let me check options. Yeah, this should work. I'm gonna double check controls. Yes, okay, yeah, the usual switch, pause, yep. Hook. Yeah, it will tell you.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Reynardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he whiled away his days at home with music, cards, and wine. But the Emperor had changed. He'd been good once, a shy, almost humble toad. He'd built universities. Then people started whispering about mass graves in the woods, midnight rituals, victims screaming. The Imperial Ravens would round up entire villages, and no one ever returned. The Ravens had come to Ubar scouting for ancient books said to be of great power. But the librarians had hidden the books, so they'd burnt the librarians. The citizens, outraged, had driven them off. The Ravens had come back with dropships. The kid had fled with one of those books. He was brave and dumb and wanted to join the rebellion. And Reynardo had promised his mother he'd protect him.
So, yeah, game already starts with a lot of death and despair. Great beginning.
The kid was looking down, watching his city burn. "Sorry, kid," Reynardo told the kid. "Look, if we give them the book, they'll leave you alone." "My mother died for this book!" "I promised her I'd protect you." "Oh, damn it." The kid had run off. With the book, of course. So Reynardo had to run after him.
Peter Cottontail.
The two ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. "Hey," Reynardo said. They cocked their heads at him. "Pick on someone as ugly as you." Wait, that didn't come out right. "For the Emperor!" The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
Basically just spam.
dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid. Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke, making the skyship docks a gated community. You needed a hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. Who let you through? Promise me you'll take the book to the rebels, or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking that damn book anywhere, and neither are you. Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, the kid hopped away. Had to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot, but he had guts. Where was Reynardo going to get a hero sword? Ore and wind essence? That sounds about right. I'll need a workshop, though. Perfect.
Look badass. That's just next level. Absolutely.
A hero sword. QED.
Also allows to heal. Someone be able to heal, please. Like charms.
This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Reynardo's jokes, even when he didn't know he'd made one. And then the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid. He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I hopped, said the kid. White-ass kid. Hey, look out behind you! Cute, said Reynardo. Ah, ravens. It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the ledge and chase the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. He'd done it. Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
Wonderful.
It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Yeah, dash. Helps.
There was the Farfetcher. She was the fastest ship he'd ever known.
Gorgeous.
She could do the Kestra run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman had told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush. Stop! He shouted. I'm not giving you the book! Shouted the kid, and took off. No! Peter!
This is not good.
The kid ran for it. and a goggler nailed him with its ivy.
One shot. Weak little bitches.
The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes, and a kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway.
Is it just health? Because if it's just health, then that's... Let's check. Always look around. Every game, no matter what game you're playing, always make sure you have a close look around. Yeah, it's just health. Like I needed help.
What was the big deal about this book anyway? Maybe he should open it and find out. All that had been years ago. How many? The war was a blur, and now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. "Where are you running, rebel?" cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults. "Just going out for milk?" Renato yelled back. "Where can you run?" laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. "Take us to the rebel base, and we'll spare your life!" it cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven, a sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time, unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper?
Well, now in this, there are actually dead ends. I think I'm going to go the direction to show the one dead end first. But you have to complete this part of the story also. I'm gonna go...
Ah, Lapino. Apparently the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time, but he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? Renato's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Yeah, I will smash. Renato smash. He is already He is a male fox. Why does it shine like that? Picking up a gem. I have not found any gems yet. And you can go through this area multiple times. Wait, why does that? It kind of looks like.
This is quite the view, he thought.
Every time you go back through this area, though, also that there is a little bit different.
People were frightened these days. Just 2 weeks past, Reynardo had sneaked through an empty town and listened to the ravens caw about the Emperor's new taste in ritual sacrifice.
Oh, I think I need help.
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
Yeah. I have no skill points.
This chest had teaspoons stolen from every inn in Boreas. Oh, and something more useful.
Water essence.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
And you can get ores then from boxes, so yeah, you might as well break them. Oop. Bowl. This game is actually pretty chill. Ooh, whoa. Upgrades.
Reynardo felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that. It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot. Like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Now I don't have to be as slow.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Reynardo. No? Renato felt a chill run down his back. Or possibly a flea.
That could be a flea. Ugh. Nothing. Okay. Yeah. Be able to go through here.
He missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like it was at a reunion.
Oh yeah, now time to whoop some ass. Much love to do so.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Yeah, actually, if I wanted to do that, though, it's like we have to go back and forth to find every ending. But I'm thinking let's stick with the top row completely for the first time, because I have. And then the next time around, after I show the dead end, we'll do the bottom row and nothing but the bottom.
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in Swordfu school. And you're still mad for her, the rabbit reminded him. They'd been close. She'd told him things no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right. The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
Right. Let me see. Okay. We have darkness. Is there a crafting station somewhere nearby? What if like Minecraft? Wait, is this? No. Okay. Always look. Give me that. Now I'll activate it. Oh, straight down. Cool. Elevator. And I gotta say, though, the graphics are really good. And like I said, this was a PlayStation Plus freebie.
Oh, what does the fox say? Asked one raven.
I am gonna murder your ass.
I'm dying. They both laughed hysterically.
You little bastard. Yeah, I only got Hero Sword. Yeep. Heh. Heh. Bye-bye. Yeah, they actually did that. They put that in this game.
These things could really use a hand.
Pro strats. Oh, one shot. Bye-bye. Feels good, man. Feels good, bruh.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lupino dressing as an old blind toad, and Reynardo hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Reynardo. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Why not? Let's
said Lupino as he ran to go set up his marvelous plan.
let's see where this dumb bull goes. Let's.
If
Why not?
I craft a sword now, it's gonna be really short.
Yeah. But that's why you go through and collect and just boost up. I think I went and just played this.
He wasn't that good. Yet.
And combat reports, soldier. Oh, Lord, this will be fun.
Reynardo felt dubious about the whole plan. With every step, he was waiting for it all to go horribly wrong.
Wait.
But against all odds, Lupino's idiotic plan worked. Zenobia's ravens ran off after the geese, the net dropped, and Reynardo jumped out of the watermelon and put his sword to Zenobia's throat. Reynardo, she said, are those new scars? They look good on you. You never return my velvet jacket. It was my favorite. You look stupid in velvet. Oh, what does an imperial princess know about style? Oh, get a room, you two, said Lupino. But the fleet was coming on fast, so they put Zenobia on the Farfarer and took her east, over the Nexus. She'd vanished from Swordfu School, from his life, without even saying goodbye, without ever telling him she was the Emperor's adopted daughter. Ah, Lupino was right, Reynardo thought reluctantly. She knows things. She recognized his look. You're taking me to the interrogators, aren't you? She said, wide-eyed. And then she jumped, with horror. Renato saw Zenobia plummeting. Then he saw the Nexus below them. Cats always land on their feet.
Ah, she'll head for the Imperial outpost. Yell the Pino. You have to catch her.
I don't know that this is what actually happened when I played it. So if I go with "This is no time for your harebrained scheme," is there a different scenario to it? Oh, I don't even get to pick what direction I'm taking now.
Cats
This
can
is
run
straight
faster, but foxes can run longer. If he ran, he could head her off before she reached her minions at the outpost. Well, he did love a good chase.
I love the detail, though. This is pretty. So, I don't know if...
No skateboarding, the sign said.
I don't know if this was exactly what happened when I'd first... I mean, I did say no time for your harebrained scheme, so...
Renato, smash!
I could play through that one again ASAP and see if there is the difference. Okay, which way is the wrong way to go? We're likely up the stairs, right? This looks like the right way to go. I don't know.
Who needed bridges anyway?
Okay, good. Okay. Yes, take a drink, puppy. Okay, now I need that health. So kill them first. Basically.
I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials,
Okay, I can finally make
thought
something.
Renato.
Oh, okay. Wait.
He was closing on her. He could smell her fear. He tried not to think about the interrogators at the secret base. What did they do to her? maybe it didn't have to end that way. Maybe he could talk to her. But, after all, there were worse things the Imperials had done to friends of his.
A crafting bench. Renato wondered what he could make with it.
Wait. Am I not allowed to... Hang on. Hero's sword. Oh, never mind, I thought... My mistake.
Renato reached the outpost. The Imperials there were no match for him. Soon after, Zenobia limped up the path. When she realized he was already in front of her, she didn't even try to run. "Oh, you left without saying goodbye." Again, he said, "Please, I'm enjoying this a little too much," she said, shaken. "Oh, spare us the chit-chat, would you?" said Lapino as he shackled her hands so she couldn't throw spells. She knows all his plans. All the way back to the Farfarer, Lapino nagged Renato about how the interrogators would pry all the intel out of Zenobia. How that would turn the tides in the imminent battle. All they had to do was take her to the rebels' secret base. Renato didn't like to think about what the interrogators would do to her. Couldn't he just talk to her?
I mean, that would be actually, because there was 4 parts to every one of the short tales. So, wouldn't the next one be... Because I was gonna try the whole no time for your harebrained scheme. Actually, while going through and collecting more ore and stuff and being able to upgrade, you know, that kind of stuff. But we were gonna go with the top of the page first, so we'll skip this time. And then maybe... if I get to this point, which is the last page, then I can do the bottom one, then I'll finish a couple of them.
As they pulled away from the Nexus, Renato could see the fear in Zenobia's eyes. "I can't take her to those creatures at the base," he whispered to Lapino. "Ah, you've gone soft. Soft in the head. We captured her for what she knows. I'll take her to the mountains. Tell all the horrible things the Emperor's done. Yeah, believe me. She'll turn." And he turned the wheel. "The hell you will!" shouted Lapino, and he grabbed the wheel back from him. The two of them wrestled for control of the ship. It shot off like a mad sparrow. Suddenly, Renato was falling.
Oh. Yeah, I actually, there might be a different one for either not doing his plan or doing his plan, so... Whoa,
When he came to, Zenobia was standing over him. "Why didn't you take me to the base to be interrogated?" she demanded. "Do you know what's left of people they interrogate? This is some trick, isn't it? To make me fall for you again. Well, I won't. Oh, go on then. Scurry back to your ravens. I can't stop you. But strangely, she didn't. As Renato set off to find the Farfarer, she followed him, keeping just out of sight of the ravens.
I don't think there's anything else I can upgrade or craft at the moment. I'd like to, but I can't. Okay, nothing. Right.
Renato wondered if his future self had commissioned these poles.
Wait. Which way's the... right way or which way's the wrong way? Okay, this is the way with the chest. Perfect.
Hey, you're kind of cute. Not really.
Oh.
If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger.
What? Don't tell me that fell off. That actually... Hold on, which way do I want to go?
Barely landed a claw on him.
I'll go this way first, I guess. I think I can go back and forth, but I'm not sure. See, this looks like the way to go.
As Renato stopped to sniff the wind, Zenobia came up, still mad.
Wrong way.
Did you really think you'd just talk me into betraying my father? Oh yeah, sure, that was exactly my plan. Then why aren't you even talking to me? Because I've never talked you into anything in my life. They're gonna court-martial you for letting me go. He caught a whiff of the Farfarer. Wet rope, tar, and a cask of Scobel ale he'd spilt last year. It was that way.
Yeah, but are you gonna let me go back so I can deal with this? No, it's dead. I missed my chance. Alright, so... Let's keep going this way.
There was a sign. Take the goat across first.
Oh, wow. Look at the detail. I'll be back through here multiple times. They've got the same areas, but just slightly different setup every single time you go through. And after this short story is complete, I'm going to the bathroom and filling up the coffee cup.
Renato wondered if he should have taken Zenobia to the rebel base for real. Maybe she wasn't playing him after all.
After the bleak talk about the Emperor's dark secrets, he was regretting his suspicion.
Because if the same thing happens up to the 4th page in the story, I'm just gonna call them pages, chapters, they're chapters. But if this same thing happens, then I will do that. I'll take her to the rebel base. Keep playing through these paths multiple times just to complete it, so...
Sure enough, the Farfarer had crashed in some rocks. There was no sign of Lupino. Zenobia caught up. All that kid stuff in Swordfu School. Look, look, that's the past. We're adults now. We have duties to other people. We have destinies. What are you talking about? And you are the most arrogant, slow-witted, light-fingered, mercenary, immoral, reckless... Run away with me, said Renato, and he realized he meant it. Just like that, she demanded. I will, if you will. So, she kissed him. And it was the best kiss he'd ever had. They held hands as they boarded the Farfarer. Renato felt light-hearted, like the winds that were playing the rigging like a balalaika. But Lupino, I need to get back to Lupino, he said, suddenly realizing he could have been captured. A prisoner. He's not. How did you know?
Go well,
He saw something in her eyes he didn't understand. He fell, didn't he? Into the abyss. She looked away, wouldn't answer. But then a bolt smashed through the Farfarer's keel. The broken ship plummeted out of the clouds.
Oh. See, I do want to do multiple different paths, multiple different stories, but I also want to
Renato
fully
picked
complete...
himself off the deck. They
There's
were
the
alive.
last final.
We have to get to my private ship, she said. Do you trust me?
Maybe
I guess
this
I
is
must,
a good
he
story.
said. You go on ahead. Clear the path, she said. I can't kill my own soldiers. He wanted to say that he didn't trust her, that he had no idea what he was getting into. But he had no choice, did he?
This might not
He
be a
was
good
following his heart. That's what it means to be a hero.
You might
You
have
have
to.
to follow your heart.
You might have to go through certain steps to get this. But, Chapter 5 is always going to be like this. In general, you don't get to pick Chapter 5. You have to go through this whole thing.
That could come in handy in a pinch.
And, of course, as I'm sure everybody's already noticed too, is that you're not going to gain every level with just one storytelling. You have to go through multiple to basically complete the full game. And it's not that difficult. It's actually very fun.
Where did that go to?
How do you like me now? I'm just gonna go ahead and go. I can up my movement speed once I get the signal.
It was definitely easier to fight inanimate objects.
case there's ore. I want that crafting material. I love how they look like they're glitch and how bad. Pay attention.
Hoped his hook didn't break.
Wait, can I? Nope. Cut that flag down. There will no one. Yeah. I don't want to ruin it, but I don't think that this is... I think you do have to go through a certain number of stories to... fucking took damage bad. Oh, it did cut it down, what?
These platforms were great. Renato wanted one for his house.
Damn! Because of that fire. Now that's how that should have went. Ouch. That's nice.
They paused to catch their breath. It was strange to be so close to her. What are you thinking? He asked. I'm trying very hard not to think. Me too, he said. Up ahead, he could see the thin silver of Zenobia's personal ship. It looked fast. They would leave all this behind.
I swear I don't even think I died when I played, I swear. Okay, go back.
The worst thing about ravens was they never dropped any loot, and no one ever wanted the feathers.
if he could learn to cook this way.
Probably not.
Nice.
As they reached her ship, Renato suddenly felt a sharp pain in his stomach. He was surprised to see a crossbow bolt sticking out of it.
I was going to lead the Empire to our secret base, said Lapino. But no, you had to screw up my plan because you still got a thing for her.
Renato stared at Zenobia. The kiss. Was it real? She said, with a look of indescribable sorrow. She gestured and said an arcane word, and Lapino went flying into the abyss, screaming, "I'm telling your father!"
So she...
Then she knelt down to cradle his head, and her paws felt very soft and warm.
I mean, I knew that Lapino...
Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar.
Again.
And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something. Lapino was a traitor. Renato had suspected there was something wrong with the Mad Rabbit. But now he knew there was malice behind his goofiness.
So, story number 5, Don't Think Twice. Hero who always follows his heart. Nice. And good, we got fire essence. So in that story, I mean, I already knew because of the dead end thing, he is a traitor. I already knew that. I just wasn't sure how this would happen because I didn't think that I did this specific direction on the story. I didn't. Okay, so she casts him away. Lapino got cast away. Nice. Right. I want to go back through some of that. I want to redo some of that, collect more, so we can view. And yeah, we can see what choices we made for it too. Wonderful. Okay, so when I played the first time, I did not accept the plan, so that might change the choice of not accepting the plan or accepting the plan. So I'm going to work around this story for a little bit. I'll probably be doing this game for... because this is actually pretty fun. Zenobia was the Mad Emperor's daughter and his greatest general. Interrogating her could expose enemy secrets and turn the tides of war. So Renato and Lapino set out to capture her and, against all expectations, succeeded. But Renato had feelings for Zenobia and could not bear the thought of seeing her suffer at the hands of the interrogators. So he changed course, forsaking the rebellion. Little did he know that he was derailing a clever plan devised by Lupino, who was in fact an agent of the Empire. Zenobia, moved by Renato's compassion, admitted her own feelings for him. They chose to flee together, only to die at the hands of a very frustrated Lupino. Oh, wow. So,
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning.
I know...
The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game-changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lupino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lupino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
You know, I take it back. I kinda want to go ahead and... Yeah, we can swap and do a little bit of the because I can relook at the story. Okay, I am gonna be right back. I do need to go to the bathroom, and it has been an hour of sitting here, so I will be right back. Hey, I am back. I did say though I was going to show that dead end. So let me go ahead and
Ah, Lapino.
I will show that dead
Apparently
end.
the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he...
Skip, because we already seen this. Or maybe there was more to it.
Apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged
Chapter
horse.
1,
He'd
Rabbit.
only sold it.
Please.
But wait, where was the prison?
Hold on.
The village was empty. Had everybody fled the ravens?
Hold on. What's now?
This burning sword from the south was terrific for barbecuing sausages and ravens.
Let's get hold. Oop. Sorry, wrong button. I need to do this. Give. You see, you go back through and everything changes. I'm fighting with
That was
Fireblade.
odd. Renato had been here, at this exact
Exact
place,
same place.
at this exact time. But this time, there were so many more ravens.
Yeah, because we take a different path. No. That's funny.
Renato looked around the empty village. How had he ever imagined Lapino was anything but a traitor? Any honest rabbit would have fled with the villagers.
Say goodnight, Gracie, said Renato, wondering who Gracie was.
What is it? Secondary power. Nothing to tell me.
Of all the artisans he was creating employment for, truly, he was a job creator.
Yeah, but those are just for like rusty barrels, not even. Oh no, my mistake. Okay, I was here.
And this is why heroes are called dashing, Renato thought. See? Dashing? Get it?
Wow. That's just sad. Yeah, let's paste the check.
Ooh, sparkly, thought Renato.
Nice.
Landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lapino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lapino. Well, unless he really was a traitor, obviously. Then they'd probably pin a medal on his chest.
Shadow sword.
Lapino would betray him. But now Renato knew that. What would Lapino do if he knew that Lapino was going to betray him? Well, he'd concoct some crazy scheme, wouldn't he? Use Lapino's betrayal against him and it would blow up in his face. Okay. Maybe he was overthinking this. That would be a first. Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Wait, am I not allowed to confront him?
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in sword fu school. And you're still mad for her. The rabbit reminded him.
Well,
they'd been
third, fourth,
close.
whatever, because I'm not gonna go
She'd
against
told him
plan this
things
time.
no one else knew. But she'd never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
Maybe I did something wrong. There was supposed to be a dead end. There was supposed to be...
The city was already under Zenobia's control. I had to admire her
probably hit the wrong
efficiency.
button.
Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the interrogators. Could he really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
Fairfax said. And it's the only path.
This chess was really awesome.
God, no. Please.
See what I did there?
Please, no. Yeah, I might have hit the wrong button. They might have had another prompt, and I missed it.
He was sort of yanking his own chain, wasn't he?
Oh, Lord. Not leveled up.
Ronaldo don't bat for little. But these arms were short on trash cans. Hey! Hey! I'm a firefox, thought Renato.
I'll allow that one.
Renato had been to a dungeon once where all the chests had teeth and eyes. It had been a short visit.
Oh, Yeah, that's if we go with his plan. Will I get...
Why was Lupino urging him to capture Zenobia? Obviously it was a trap. But you never knew how Lupino thought. Sometimes his plans were so convoluted they did the exact opposite to what Lupino wanted. Yeah, there must be some way to play on that, Renato thought.
Not paying attention. Like an idiot. Ooh, that's dangerous.
Two eyes, good. One eye, dead.
Brick. Ooh. Yeah, I think I missed a bit.
So, what's this plan of yours? Use me as bait, said Lupino. And he outlined a slightly complicated plan that involved geese, a net, setting the Farfarer a little bit on fire, Lupino dressing as an old blind toad, and Renato hiding inside a monstrous watermelon. What could possibly go wrong? Thought Renato. Oh, go ahead. I'm sure you know better. said Lapino.
Yep, we changed the outcome. So let's see what happens, I guess. This was the way I used the first time I played, and I don't remember at all.
Renato slinked through Zenobia's ship, making no sound at all. Where were her guards? Finally, he reached her bedroom. She was curled up on her bed. Oh, he'd forgotten how beautiful she was. How sleek. How soft. He tapped her on the shoulder with his sword. She became smoke. And he noticed he had a blade to his throat. Stay a while. Heard a familiar voice. Did you really think you could capture me? Zenobia said as her ship lifted off. Now I just wanted some privacy. Renato said, did you ever wonder why the Emperor adopted you? And he told her why. His Imperial Majesty wanted to bring the lost gods back. They could make him immortal. But to seal the bargain, he needed a sacrifice. Someone who truly loved him. You're lying. She was furious. You can't prove that. I can. And so, they set sail for the Nexus.
Okay, so the third one, you both don't get a choice. Either she takes off running, or he tries to show her. Which?
The scientists at the observatory have resurrected one of his victims. Well, he's not exactly alive, but it can talk, and it can't lie. You took a big risk. You know, I could just cast a spell to make you tell me where the rebel base is. And you wouldn't consider that cheating? She frowned. Ugh, fine. Let's go get your witness. The rebellion had started after atrocities that the Empire hushed up. Renato had rescued a priest whose order had been massacred for one book. He had slept in a burnt village. Dead kittens and puppies had come to tell him what the Emperor had done to them. He'd once met a pirate captain. He used hooks to get around his ship. Oh, what was his name again? Learn new skills. If only he'd take the time to figure out which.
That was actually pretty useful.
Renato went to the china shop. For some reason, the owner was always nervous.
I wonder why.
She caught up with him. Don't you think I'd know if my father started practicing black magic? Why? Would you want to join in? Oh, no, I'd destroy his books and... All right, I suppose I wouldn't.
She stopped, troubled. He ran on.
These were really nice chests. He should take one home, he thought.
I didn't really want to do like the same, almost the same path. But, you know, it does get a couple of stories out of the way, so I mean...
The scientists on this island had been investigating the Emperor's dark rituals on their own. They were neutral in the civil war engulfing the Empire, but they could see that the dark magics the old Toad had loosed were changing the world. Renato hoped he and Zenobia weren't putting them in danger.
Yeah, that's why I don't...
There was an engraving. Maximum capacity, 130 people.
Some people are just liable to explode if you upset them.
Why are they explosive?
Through his armor. Oh dear, that wasn't good.
I'm gonna die if I can't get any more health. He's even leaning over because it's so bad. I don't know what to do. This is the end of it, so.
The observatory was a burning hulk. Dead scientists and black feathers everywhere. The Ravens had taken care to burn the reanimated witness to cinders. Zenobia stared around, shocked. The scientists had been neutral. They had no part in the rebellion. "Take me to your council," she said, shaken. "I have things to tell them." It was what Reynardo had gambled on. The Zenobia would turn against her father once she knew his madness. But the rebel base was secret. Could he really risk taking the Emperor's daughter there?
Oh no, wait. What do I... Do I want to do the top one or... You know what? Top one first.
Reynardo reached Lapino by Farspeaker Toad.
No, we should take her to the base,
Insisted Lapino. No, I don't trust her. Nobody changes sides that fast, said Reynardo.
I better go to the base. Let them know you've got her.
Lapino said.
For some reason, Reynardo wasn't sure that was a good idea.
Just meet me at the far side of the mountains. There's a shuttle here I can take,
Always has to be your way, doesn't it?
said Lapino.
So I can actually, I think, complete like 40
Zenobia was
stories
still
by doing this.
shaking as they got out. I didn't know, she said. The Ravens kept it secret. At first they sacrificed prisoners, then villages near the frontier, and then an orphanage. Kittens and puppies. Sometimes he'd come back to the palace and it was like there were glowing things behind his eyes. I was so busy. I'll clear a path for us, Reynardo told Zenobia, so the Ravens don't see you.
So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do what I was gonna do and play through the first part, I guess. I'll do the next one, do Lapino's plan, and then take her. Basically, swap back and forth. It's the same story, but with different outcomes, is what it is, anyway. Depending on which choice you make, also shows how characters will respond to your actions.
He felt like Tarzan.
Give me food. He wants me to again.
Zenobia came up as he massaged his sore arm. Her eyes were wet. He's been saying strange things. He asked me to do experiments. And some were wrong. They are banished, right? Said Reynardo. Gone forever. I mean, he couldn't actually bring the old gods back, could he? She didn't answer him. That frightened him more than anything.
Imagine if you built a house on one of these things.
Oh, that would be amazing. It would be like having a boat.
Going spectacularly well, thought Renato.
Renato hoped his mother wasn't watching.
Hello, friendo. How is your day going? Oh wait, can I... Hang on.
Hero Wall. Hero Sword. Ice Wall. Ice Cube.
How is Mari doing today, as well? Ooh. Very nice. Ah. I'll be doing a baked chicken and homemade barbecue with mashed potatoes later for my dinner. Dear Zenobia, do you remember that expedition I have sent to the depths beneath the island? They have returned. Well, 3 ships have returned out of the 8 I sent. Of course, I'm more in the losses, but the knowledge the survivors brought back is invaluable. What they have experienced is incredible. The air gradually grows denser and more turbulent until it becomes a suffocating, bone-crushing thunderstorm. But the islands keep stretching for miles below the surface, and they have roots that radiate downward far beyond sight. Oh, it is very, very nom-nom, believe me. The islands are alive. This is the proof I was looking for. The thick air of the depths keeps them afloat, and in the depths they find their sustenance. Do they have a conscience? Are they aware of our existence, or are we merely parasites that they ignore or tolerate? I must prepare another expedition. This time I will go myself. I need to see this wondrous world of the endless deep sky. I hope you will visit me before I leave. I would like to hear more about that new friend of yours, Renato. With love, Father. So...
Huh? A lever? That was new. Most people still use doorknobs.
Wait, you're supposed to...
Who are these guys? They seem to make everyone else harder to kill.
I tried to heal. They introduce a
You
enemy
guys
and it's like,
actually tell each other apart. Because I'm thinking name tags. No one can beat Renato at hot potato.
one health. That's not good.
Renato had heard stories of a dungeon where chests were filled with potions and weapons. Fairy tales.
Checkpoint, checkpoint.
Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
Renato wondered if he should have taken Zenobia to the rebel base for real. Maybe she wasn't playing him after all. After the bleak talk about the Emperor's
See
dark
that,
secrets,
Liskin?
he was regretting his suspicion.
Basically the same start story, 4 different endings.
try it.
You're hooked.
Oh my god. Oh, the puns.
They came up on an empty shack. He gestured her in. Where's the base? She asked, confused. I thought we could talk a bit first.
Oh, you think I'm playing you? She was furious. I'm betraying my father who picked me out of an alley, and you think I'm playing you?
She lashed out. Her claws sliced fire into his face. Energy boiled in her other paw. But before she could kill him, he slashed his sword into her heart. She staggered. I could have loved you. You son of a bitch. And then she died.
Oh, this is
Renato
not a good
stood
one.
there for hours, unable to move. Finally, a ship landed near him. Lapino had brought the Farfarer. On board the Farfarer, Lapino couldn't stop grinning.
Wow.
I can't believe you actually killed her. Why didn't I trust her? Renato said. All he could feel was emptiness.
You killed the Emperor's daughter.
You might want to run for it. If you care whether you live or die, that is. Since Renato didn't, he grabbed the wheel, and he sailed for the Imperial fleet.
Jesus. Okay, I think this is what happened when I first played it. But I'm not going to be able to get a detailed way to get the
Renato
best
had
ending.
never felt worse. Zenobia had listened to him. He had trusted him. She'd opened her eyes to her father's evil. Done everything he had hoped for. He had taken her to a dirty shack. Was he so used to lying that he couldn't trust even the girl he had always loved?
Easy, just restore every time you play.
The portal was heavily guarded. It must go someplace they really didn't want it to go.
Hell yeah.
Once, he found a Superman issue number 1 in mint condition in a jar he'd broken. He planned to keep breaking things until he had the whole series.
Enjoy.
Renato wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles.
show.
What did you do if one of these platforms stalled?
Can I borrow that?
He could see the rebels reeling back as he plunged into the ranks of the Ravens. He'd had to kill the girl he loved, but he'd also blown the biggest opportunity they could have had to turn the Emperor's daughter against him. Oh, Reynardo could only laugh miserably. He was taking crazy chances now, swinging wildly. He expected the Ravens to take him at any moment, but they were running in fear. No one wants to fight a man who doesn't care if he lives. No one wants to fight a hero.
I'm getting a little bit better with my swings, at least.
Soon he'd confront the Emperor. Funny that this whole war had come about because the Emperor feared death. And now it was coming for him. There was some sort of lesson there, wasn't there?
Epic. And this is the
He was exhausted.
story
Could
two,
barely think.
I
He
guess.
wanted to stop thinking. The rebels were already finished, and he was the last. The Ravens were coming for him personally now, in waves. It didn't matter. He was slick with his own blood, but it didn't matter. In the distance, he could see her, embraced by a halo of light, holding her hand out to him. Had she forgiven him? Would she take him to the halls of the Valiant? Then he felt steel in his belly, and his chest, and his back. And he lay down, and he couldn't see her anymore. Reynardo stared at the book. He was still alive. Again.
Oh.
And still only flying away from burning Ubar. Had he lived that adventure? Or only dreamt it? Had he really died? It felt so real, not like a dream at all. And he'd lost again. Oh, he hated that. But he had made different choices. And he'd lost in a different way. It was the book, wasn't it? Oracles showed you your destiny. But this was showing him different ways he could die miserably. Thanks a bunch, book, he thought. But these were destinies that he did not have to fulfill.
But he'd learned another true thing. Zenobia still had feelings for him.
So even though I started basically on the exact same path, I ended up with a different truth. Yeah. It's like there's still like a dead end thing. Okay, so basically if you want to get the true ending, you do have to go for the other two.
But that meant there must be a destiny where he survived and won, right? Otherwise, what was the point? And with that, the book's pages fluttered back once more to the beginning, and the clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course.
No.
Reynardo had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
You know what, let's go for the true ending. I guess we can go for the...
Every child knew about the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Reynardo could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it. As he set foot on the island, Reynardo couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Reynardo felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Reynardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature.
Yeah.
Could he stick with it?
That's what I'm trying to do, I guess.
Well, no sense collecting more materials. It was time to make something pointy.
Show me to a crafting table. Okay, game. Let burn.
Boy, if looks could kill. The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods, thousands of thousands had died. But Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one. What's there? There was blood on this one, so it hadn't saved its owner.
Oh, jeez. That's nice.
Practically sure he'd find something useful in one of these things.
The truth behind the Sky Ripper is shrouded in a thick fog. The most believable tale is that the Transcendent Emperor has used the Sky Ripper to banish Iblis. Then the TE buried the weapon and vanished. Was it a self-imposed exile to rid the world of its last divine presence, or was it the price to pay for using such a tremendous power? Could the Sky Ripper and Iblis have a deeper connection than just a weapon and its victim? My rituals will summon the Iblis stone. Perhaps I should worry that they will also cause the Sky Ripper to resurface. If that is the case, I should spare no resources to find it. A weapon that can banish a god is an invaluable bargaining chip should the old ones decide to double-cross me. It is in their nature to try, but gods are predictable, and I can rely on that to always be one step ahead. The Mad Emperor.
Ice walls only let you through if they knew you were cool.
You gotta chill out.
He wished there were more pylons he could use the hook on. He really needed to construct additional pylons.
Go. The live ones, I mean.
Didn't your mother tell you it's rude to stare? Snapped Renato, a little smug.
Was that your shield?
Puzzle.
Oh boy.
Renato loved puzzles. Except when he couldn't figure them out. On the other hand, if there was a puzzle, it was probably meant to keep people away from something good.
Cute. Is this the right way to go?
See? That wasn't so hard.
I don't want to go the right way. Not yet. That's why. Should I be wondering?
Open, says me. There was a pleasant breeze coming through that door. Had it been closed before? Not everyone knew how to use magical gems. Of course, not everyone had magical gem gauntlets like he did. That had been his mistake before. Not trusting Zenobia's feelings for him. But how could he have known? After all these years of silence. There it was. Sky Ripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made of. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all? He'd have to ask a scientist. But first, he'd get the second piece. Sky Ripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him.
Yeah, let's go for the stairs.
It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia. Well, he would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all this was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to get the core. Doubt sunk in before he was even out of sight of the Farfarer. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? It was the sort of path he'd always avoided. The path of responsibility, of seriousness. Had he grown up? He didn't feel grown up. He'd made this decision from his gut, like he always did. Somehow, he'd impulsively decided to stop being impulsive. Did that make any sense?
Nothing back here. Well. Okay, where are you gonna spawn in? I know that there's...
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Wrong one. Ooh, sparkly.
were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals of the forest, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone? And he was getting hungry too. This was an unhealthy place to be.
Renata felt ready to take on new powers.
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts, and he hadn't liked what he smelled and saw there. This felt like
Very
that.
nice.
As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away. Now he only felt sad. He had lost good friends for this war apparatus.
Maybe Lapino wasn't such a good friend. Yeah, that made him feel better. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now, he had to make his next move.
There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it.
Well... yeah, you know, I dubbed the Ramen Man. I think since I'm sticking with the bottom, kinda, for this, since the first pick was middle, because it added the desert temple. But since I'm going bottom for this, let's go ahead and just test it out, then we'll get some information next time we go through this storyline.
Renato had never been much of a student. At Sword Fu School, he'd never read the
I'm gonna
books.
go fill my coffee and
Just
I'll be
looked
right
at the
back.
pictures. And Zenobia. But weapons he understood. His gut told him that the Sky Ripper would work great. He would use it to take out the Imperial outpost. And what's the worst that could happen? The thing wouldn't work, and then he'd take it to the scientists. Right? Exactly. As he set out down the path, Renato wondered why the parts of the Sky River had only surfaced now, thousands of years after the Transcendent Emperor had discarded it. This Emperor, Isengrim III, had performed terrible, bloodthirsty rituals to invoke the lost gods. Perhaps that was bringing up lost artifacts. How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction.
I am definitely doing pretty good, especially since I started playing this. And that's pretty, it follows me around like that. Oops. But yeah, I'm actually having a really good time with this one. Pretty easy game to play too, and it's just trying to figure out the storyline, so it's not that difficult. Easy controls. Got it for free from PlayStation Plus. I'm hoping once I get done with this, and maybe some dishes, well, I'll be back for sure to play this, because I'm not going to be able to finish the whole thing in one day. But, I'm thinking Pokemon, like always. I can get a shiny somewhere.
else could you hook?
Bernardo had been the terror of the sandcastles when he was 2.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I'm gonna eventually get them all taken care of. Eventually. I'll keep leveling up skill points.
Don't go away.
Nice. Okay,
He
go.
was tired of slaughtering ravens. Maybe it was time to test out the new weapon. He turned a knob on the Sky Ripper. It made strange mechanical noises. The wheels spun faster. It began to hum.
Sparkle.
The Sky Ripper was following his every step.
Pretty.
At least it acknowledged him as the master. But there was no trigger. How was he supposed to fire it?
That's why you're supposed
Fire.
to go talk to the scientists.
Nothing happened. Well, maybe it just needed to warm up. After all, it hadn't been fired in thousands of years.
No, it is pretty. It sparkles with every move. Energy. I think I do heal health as I go.
Hey! Hey, a workbench!
He could try out his new bling.
Hell yeah. Oh. Well. Increases movement and attack speed.
Yeah!
Okay. Oh, right. That's cool, it's actually helping me.
The Sky Ripper was making a whining noise now, and its wheels were spinning so fast he could no longer see them.
Bernardo had a thought. Please? He asked. The Sky Ripper began to glow.
Boom!
The outpost burst into flame.
Please
Ravens
wait.
flapped out screaming, wings on fire. The base was his. The far speaker toad came hopping out.
Renato!
It croaked, sounding like a toad version of Zenobia.
Don't use the Sky Ripper! It will destroy the world!
Yeah, sure it will. cracked Renato. Pull the other one.
If you don't trust me, go see Calaveras.
That sounded sensible. Why did she always have to sound sensible all the time? Oh, it was infuriating.
Of course she would say that. He was supposed to hurry and bring the Sky Ripper to the Council so the rebels could actually win the war. But what if she was right?
Damn it.
Oh yeah, believe me, I know I'm having a damn it moment too. I was doing bottom line. It don't matter what the outcome is. I was just doing. Okay.
Just this once, he would not let Zenobia get into his head with her logic and her wisdom and her appeals to reason. He was a fox. He'd go with his instincts, and it would all work out like it always did. Oh, he was sounding like a reckless idiot, even to himself. But if there was one thing Renato could never bring himself to do, it was turn back on a decision he'd made.
And to try to figure out like which ones I didn't go with next time I play. Try to get all the stories.
Imperials were flapping and cawing all around the ruins. They must be panicking with rumors flying of the superweapon.
Yes.
Maybe they hoped to find and destroy the base before he could put the Sky Ripper into action. The Sky Ripper was whining and heating up. It would be time to use that energy soon.
Normally the way with the door is a special path.
A chest full of old banana peels. There had to be more. What?
I want that over like everything.
It was a bit windy up here.
Oh, this looks like fun. Wait. Which way?
Awesome!
Very nice. Normally, by a door like that is just a.
Good! An enemy run for me nest, said the lead raven.
Just a special way to adjust so you can go right back to where. Okay, which. Nope, I don't need to.
Ah, the road less traveled, thought Renato. How intriguing. was Zenobia talking about? This was a fantastic weapon. Ravens burst into flames with just a touch of its killer beam. She was tempted to leave it on all the time, but he didn't want to accidentally slice off some council toad's head or tongue. She'd been trying to distract him. Well, this time, no one was going to distract him.
Anyone ever tell you have a lovely eye? No? What was the point of this gate? Did they think no one would notice the lever? The long stairs. So he was close to the rebel base. Nothing was on fire. So far, so good. Craziest weapon he'd ever used. The mysterious sword from the east made you so fast you could catch a fly with your chopsticks. If that's what you really wanted. As he headed towards the council chamber, Renato felt everyone watching him.
"You've saved the rebellion," said the council speaker. "Frankly, we were afraid you'd turn aside to save that idiot Lapino."
Not bloody likely, Renato told them, feeling he was maybe being a bit harsh on the poor mad rabbit.
"If you never make sacrifices," he said, "you're probably not doing the right thing." The speaker nodded. "Are you ready to lead the charge?" "Let's roll," he said, with grim satisfaction. Renato set sail for the fleet. The Sky Ripper had lost its wine. It was humming now, as if it had taken some time to seat properly. He had always been irresponsible. This time, he'd done the right thing, made the hard decisions. He was a real hero. He hadn't let himself be distracted by old friends or old lovers turned enemies. Finally, he could be proud of himself.
Yeah. I mean, if the food itself didn't kill
He was
you,
ready.
the salt will.
So was Skyripper. The Skyripper had a will of its own. It picked out its own targets and set them on fire.
Now, this was going to be a short battle. He would set the ships on fire if he didn't need them to get to the Emperor. And he wondered if he'd see Zenobia, or if she'd flee. Wouldn't she be proud of him? At least, a bit of respect. He'd become an all-conquering hero. You never knew where the road would take you, thought Reynardo.
Look down, he thought. There was a parchment on a signpost. It was from her.
Every time you fire, you risk the destruction of the universe. That's insane. We surrender. A trick? Maybe she really believed it. He could hear horns blaring the retreat. Maybe it was true. Maybe they had one. I think this is yours, said Reynardo. He couldn't hear his enemy's answer. Around the room yelling, oh yeah, that's how we do it. It was something he liked to do, but only after he chewed all the witnesses.
Reynardo wondered if it wasn't cheaper to build bridges and stairs.
And there was Zenobia, wearing the white robes of surrender. She came and kneeled before him. Why didn't you listen to me? I was trying to save you too. You're the enemy, you said. I was never your enemy, Reynardo.
And he realized, not for the first time, how much she loved him.
Then she spoke a terrible word and made a gesture with her hand. She stopped moving, covered in frost, and he wondered why she'd frozen herself. Then the Skyripper froze, and then, for a moment, he felt very cold and discovered that he couldn't move. The next thing he knew, the sun was a giant, Monstrously red. It took up half the sky, and he was in a parched red desert. And then he was on fire.
And just like that, he was alive again, and back on the Farfarer, still fleeing burning Ubar. The book was still open before him. So, the book was a portal. It took you to the future, when your destinies would branch. He had failed and died 3 times, and he hadn't learned anything new this time. He'd done the same thing twice, yet expected a different outcome.
Well... yeah... Nuke. Holy nuts. I probably should go ahead and stop for today. Oof, ouch. I found 3 different stories. And I don't think, except for this one, that is beautiful how it glows though. Okay, I think...
But he was starting to feel like he was getting the hang of this. There was a way through to victory. He could feel it. He just had to keep running the path of destinies. With that, the book fluttered back to the beginning, and he fell into it. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced, or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
I cannot believe it's been almost 3 hours on 3 stories. Ugh. As much as I want to continue, I'm getting a little bit of achy and sore, and I'm going to probably go ahead and take off. But in general, okay. The second story, almost sincere. Zenobia was the Mad Emperor's daughter and his greatest general. Convincing her to join the rebellion would split the Imperial forces and turn the tides of the Civil War. He could show her proof of her father's madness, and he did, as they witnessed the slaughter of innocent civilians by the Empire. Zenobia was shocked. She agreed to meet the rebel leaders, but Renato was wary. Maybe she was using him to lead the Empire to the secret base. So he led her far away from the base. Enraged and heartbroken by the lies, Zenobia lashed out at Renato and died in the struggle. Depressed and guilt-ridden, Renato made a suicide attack on the Imperial fleet and died fighting. It's like, I could probably just... It's like the first one, there's like two more different directions I could go based on try to branch it off. I will do that next time. And I'll probably just try to get the stories in order, I guess. I don't know how. Go with the Lapino choice first, and then pick which plan he goes with. Which should give me 2 different outcomes based on what I do. And then for this one, which will be after those 2, I think I should just go ahead and do what I was going to do, just try to play through those stories again, because they should have different outcomes based on that there's like 2 more things I have to do for that specific line. Okay, so, the Sky Ripper, the stuff of legend. Renardo assembled the weapon and without hesitation started raining death at the enemy. The Imperials were terrified. Zenobia, the Emperor's daughter, made a pathetic attempt to stop Renardo. The Sky Ripper could destroy the world, she said. Ha! Renardo was no fool. With the Sky Ripper in tow, he charged to the big battle, putting the enemy in disarray. Soon enough, he met Zenobia to accept a surrender. It was a trap. Zenobia actually believed the Sky Ripper was a danger to the world. Her spell froze Renardo for billions of years until the sun evolved into a scorching red giant. Then Renardo burned to death. So wait, the froze for... Huh. Because I know there is one path that I thought actually... The Sky Ripper actually did cause the enormous fireball. Something happened. Alright, I think that's gonna probably do it. 3 stories, 3 hours. Ugh. Actually, it takes quite a bit of time and decent content, I guess. So... Well, peeps, it's been fun. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. This is a new playthrough, and it'll be... I will play this on Sundays, if I do feel up to it. We got 3 stories in 3 hours, so... give or take about 40 minutes to 50 minutes for one full 5-chapter story. And we've got so many more stories to figure out, which is basically just finding what you didn't do the last time around, and then do it. I know I should probably go for the true story as soon as I can, so I guess... well, I guess I'll figure that out next time when I start. What exactly I'm going to do, because right now I am... oh... yeah, my brain's fried. It was a fun 3 hours, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you, Mohawk1989, for stopping by and hanging out. It was greatly appreciated. Peeps, go follow Mohawk1989 and go follow Mari Louise on Twitch. Those 2 are very awesome people. Do a lot of great content. And of course, don't forget, hit that like button and sub if you haven't already. Any and all of your help and support is greatly appreciated, so please let your friends and family know about my channel. Let them know I've got some decent content or some good content, because if you didn't like it, you wouldn't be watching. At least. And of course, don't forget the pesky autoplay. Turn that off so you don't get removed from a stream or a video or whatever you're watching of a favorite YouTuber that you want to see. Also, as always, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys later. Bye, everybody. It was fun. See you another Sunday for more stories.